If you've been waiting for Apple to finally enter the foldable phone race, the latest leaks are going to get you excited. And a little worried. Because according to multiple reports, Apple's first foldable iPhone, often called the iPhone Fold Ultra in rumors, could be revealed as early as September. But even if Apple announces it this fall, actually getting your hands on one at launch may be a serious challenge. Today, we're breaking down everything we know so far about the rumored iPhone Fold Ultra, the possible September launch window, why supply could be extremely limited, how Apple's supply chain and production ramp may slow things down, whether the rollout will be global or market limited, and why the iPhone Ultra name could signal a new premium tier with an even higher price. Let's get into it. September. Launch rumors. Is Apple finally ready for a foldable iPhone? Apple has been linked to foldable iPhone prototypes for years, but the new wave of leaks points to something much more specific. A potential September unveiling that lines up with Apple's traditional fall iPhone event schedule. If Apple does reveal a foldable iPhone in September, it instantly puts the company in direct competition with established foldable leaders like Samsung's Galaxy Z Fold series and Huawei's Mate X lineup, brands that have already gone through multiple generations of foldable hardware. But Apple doesn't typically rush into new product categories. When Apple enters a space late, it usually tries to enter right, and that approach often comes with a catch: limited early availability. So even if you see the iPhone Fold Ultra on stage this September, don't assume you'll be able to casually walk into a store and buy one on launch day. If the leaks are accurate, the smartest move for anyone who wants one early will be simple. Be ready the minute pre-orders go live. Why the iPhone Fold Ultra could sell out fast. Production is not like a normal iPhone. A foldable iPhone isn't just a regular iPhone with a different screen. Foldables are harder to build, harder to test, and harder to scale. The biggest manufacturing bottlenecks typically come down to two core components. First, the foldable display. Flexible OLED panels are more complex than standard displays, and achieving consistent quality at scale is difficult. Even small issues like uneven brightness, creasing behavior, touch inconsistencies, or durability concerns can lower yields and slow production. Second, the hinge mechanism. The hinge is the heart of any foldable smartphone. It has to feel smooth, hold angles reliably, survive thousands of folds, and resist dust and wear over time. Apple is known for obsessing over mechanical precision, which likely means stricter tolerances, tougher testing, and more rejections during early production. That combination, advanced flexible OLED manufacturing plus a high-precision hinge, often leads to a slow ramp-up period. Some reports suggest suppliers may need 3 to 5 months to scale production properly, which is a big deal if Apple wants meaningful availability right after a fall launch. So if you're expecting iPhone-level stock on day one, the reality is, the iPhone Fold Ultra may launch more like a limited drop than a mass-market release. The real reason. It might be hard to buy, high demand meets low early supply. Even if Apple produces a decent amount, demand could still overwhelm supply. Foldable iPhone hype is on another level, because this isn't just a new model, it's Apple entering a category people have wanted for years. Early adopters, collectors, tech creators, and loyal iPhone users who've been holding out for a foldable will all be watching the same pre-order page at the same time, and with a first-generation product, especially one rumored to be positioned as an Ultra, Apple may intentionally keep supply tight early on to maintain quality control, reduce risk, and manage returns. That means two things for buyers. Pre-orders could sell out extremely fast. Delivery windows could slip quickly from launch week to weeks later or even next month, depending on region. Global availability. US-only launch or worldwide rollout? Another big question is where Apple will launch the foldable iPhone first. Some early speculation suggested Apple might do a limited release, potentially focusing on the United States first. Apple has done staggered rollouts before, especially when supply is constrained or when it wants to test logistics and retail demand in a controlled way. But other reports hint at something bigger, a wider global rollout across key premium markets, potentially including the United States, China, major European countries, India, and that matters because foldable demand is especially strong in places like China and parts of Asia where ultra-premium smartphones often gain traction quickly. If Apple tries to launch in multiple major markets at once with limited supply, the shortage could feel even worse everywhere. So the big takeaway is this. Even if the iPhone Fold Ultra launches globally, availability could still be extremely uneven. Your chances of getting one may depend heavily on your country, your carrier, and how quickly local inventory sells out. The iPhone Ultra name, what Apple's branding could tell us now. Let's talk about the name. Because it's not just marketing, it can signal Apple's strategy. Some insiders believe Apple may brand the Foldable as an iPhone Ultra model, something like iPhone Fold, Ultra iPhone Ultra Fold, or simply iPhone Ultra if Apple uses the Ultra branding. It sends a clear message. This isn't a mainstream iPhone replacement. It's a new top-tier device meant to sit above the Pro and Pro Max, similar to how the Apple Watch Ultra sits above standard Apple Watches. An Ultra name would also make it easier for Apple to justify a higher starting price, more exclusive material, top-end specifications, and potentially limited initial quantities, and that loops back into availability. If Apple positions this foldable iPhone as a premium, aspirational product, part cutting-edge tech, part luxury, then hard to buy, may actually be part of the launch story. Supply chain. Complexity, the hidden problem that can delay everything, even for Apple. Foldables introduce a different level of supply chain complexity. A standard iPhone already relies on a massive network of suppliers, but a foldable iPhone adds specialized components that are harder to source, harder to test, and more sensitive to manufacturing variants. Here are the types of issues that can tighten supply fast. Limited capacity for flexible OLED panels that meet Apple's standard hinge components, requiring precision machining and specialized assembly. Increased failure rates during durability testing. Integration challenges with thin batteries, thermal management, and internal layout delays from any single supplier, creating a chain reaction. And when you're building a foldable phone, one bottleneck can slow the entire production line. If display yields drop, if hinge parts are delayed, or if assembly takes longer than planned, Apple can't just ship what's ready at full scale. So even if Apple announces the iPhone Fold Ultra with confidence, the early months will likely depend on how smoothly the supply chain performs in the real world. What to expect if you're trying to buy one at launch? If you're planning to buy the iPhone Fold Ultra on day one, here's what you should realistically expect based on how limited launch products typically go. First, you'll want to track the announcement and pre-order date closely. With a high-demand Apple product, the first wave can disappear in minutes, not hours. Second, be prepared for delivery windows to stretch quickly. You might see available on launch day turn into 2-3 weeks almost instantly after pre-orders open. Third, if Apple does a phased rollout, some countries may get very limited inventory at first. That could mean fewer color options, fewer storage tiers, or carrier-only availability early on. Fourth, expect resale prices to spike. If supply is tight and demand is huge, scalpers and resellers will push prices up, especially for first-week units. And finally, be ready for Apple to prioritize quality over speed. If Apple finds a durability issue, hinge issue, or display consistency issue during early manufacturing, the company could slow distribution rather than risk a high-profile reliability controversy. Why? This launch could be a turning point for smartphones. Whether Apple calls it the iPhone Fold Ultra or something else entirely, the first foldable iPhone is shaping up to be one of the most important smartphone launches in years. Apple entering foldables could pressure the entire industry, pushing app developers to optimize for foldable screens, forcing competitors to refine durability and software features, and accelerating mainstream adoption of foldable form factors. But for consumers, the headline is simple. The iPhone Fold Ultra may be incredible, yet surprisingly hard to buy at launch. So if you want one early, plan like it's a limited release. Watch the September event season closely, keep an eye on pre-order timing, and be ready to act fast the moment Apple opens orders. Because if the leaks are right, the biggest challenge won't be deciding whether to buy Apple's first foldable iPhone.